Thanks for joining today. We're going to cover one of several key concepts that really help us understand AI, data privacy, cybersecurity, the SEC requirements we all deal with, as well as some Delaware law issues, but more importantly, just how we really are interacting with this new world we've created, which I would call the hybrid world. And so the first concept we need to understand is that society has always created lines of communication. We started with roads, we moved to ships, we then moved to planes, and then now we've created one that is virtual called the internet. And so with each line of communication, there's four components to a line of communication. There's a road, there's a platform, there's propellant and fuel, and then there's an engine. And in our current iteration of this, the telecommunications backbone, what we might call the internet, is the road. The platform is hardware and software. The propellant and fuel is data and also energy to power all those things. And the engine is AI, ML, and other computational methods. And so it's important that we put all these things in context, because as we do try to understand cyber, as we try to understand privacy and data, as we try to understand AI how it might change our world, you really have to understand it in the context of it being a line of communication that is, frankly, changing our society and already has in many ways. And we see that with the changes that the tech infrastructure's already done. And that tees into a second point that's important, which is when you look at these issues, you can really bundle them. And so if you look at it from an infrastructure standpoint, the backbone of the internet and the hardware and the software is really the infrastructure that enables value extraction. The data is where the value resides, whether that's personal data or non-personal data. Obviously, one involves privacy, one does not, but that is where the value resides, but it has to be processed in order for the value to be extracted. And that's what AI, ML, and other computational methods really exist to do, which is extract the value from the data. And the data, while it may have value, it isn't realized until it's processed. And conversely, you can't process data without, funny enough, having data. And so the AI side of the house, in terms of legal practice and consulting and other things, is really inextricably linked to the data side. And that's not to say that data scientists should be conducting privacy impact assessments or that privacy lawyers should be running AI, but it is to say there's a very close linkage to the two areas, because frankly, data doesn't have value till it's processed, and AI can't process, has to have data to process. And so cyber is different because it is sort of the vehicle that allows all of that to happen. It's not to say it's unimportant, but it's a bit more of an empty process versus the data and the AI side of this. I think, again, to take that step back, what's important to realize is we have created this virtual line of communication that connects everybody in the world, essentially, except where governments have chosen to block it. And as a result, it's not the most secure network one could have, because we have borders for a reason. We do not really have borders on the internet. And so we have created these extended virtual supply chains, if you will, for data and processing that are dependent upon people not trying to take them down, which threat actors do. At the same time, and the internet really began as a commercial venture in the late 90s in any meaningful way, at that same time, we also extended our physical supply chain. So now we don't manufacture as much in the US, we use other countries to do that. And as a result, we extended both our physical and virtual supply chains at the same time. That has positive impacts. It also has negative impacts. And so as we, again, talk more and write more about these issues, it's important to understand that at the core of it is a virtual supply line that really is not as secure as it could be, because it is an open technology and it does have a lot of threat actors on it. But that line of communication is critical to probably 95+% of our business processes, as well as the processes in society that we all need to exist in the world the way we do. And of course, as I noted, our physical supply chain chains have been extended significantly as well. And so, again, as we look down the road, when we talk about qualitative risk or red flag risks with Delaware, as well as just privacy generally, tech and infrastructure risk, as well as AI, and how it may change society, it is important to understand that we do live in this hybrid world with these extended supply chains that are, again, both a physical and virtual supply chains that have been extended and are vulnerable at times to attacks by threat actors. And so, as well as a variety of other people. So, again, we'll be taking these concepts and pulling them through a variety of areas, but it's important to note that you have to think about it in context of a line of communication. You have to think about it as a hybrid world that we do live in, and you have to realize that both the physical and virtual supply chains that we all depend upon have been extended pretty significantly, and that creates both the opportunity to create value, but also significant risk.